Hey guys, I'm making another post, as you can tell. Um, so I got some news today from, this is not going to be an exciting outdoor showing you the city post, although I intend to keep doing those and hopefully improve them some. But for this one, I just wanted to update you guys on what's going on with China and getting my stuff from China and trying to get it down here. And so I have a friend working on that, and he has priced what he thinks is the best option, which is really expensive. So I worked it out earlier. He gave me a price per 15 kilograms, which is a weird way to price it, but that's what he sent, and I worked it out. And it's, if I send in my stuff from China, if I send as much stuff as I weigh, and I'm not going to be specific about how much I weigh because I weigh a lot, but if I send that much stuff, it'll be $500 US dollars, the equivalent, plus the cost of customs. That's expensive. That's way too much. The stuff isn't worth that much. So I don't have anything that's worth 500 per kilograms. So it's just not worth it to do that. Now, I'm going to ask him to. I'm going to try and find some cheaper ways to do it. He may not be the right person to help. He's a nice guy, but he's like, oh, but they're the best, shipping company. But they're like a FedEx. They're not a moving company. So I have a friend here who's like, oh, you can get a moving company. They just put it in a van and take it down. I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted. But I don't know who to ask in China, and I can't get to China, and it's a big ask. This is going to be a lot of trouble, and I barely have enough money to pay for the stuff to be moved in the first place. Much less to compensate him, which he's not asking for money, so it's probably just not. That's not even an issue. It's just that there's not a lot of people. Most of the people I know there are back to work. They're working full time. They don't really have time to go over to my house. And even if we find somebody to pack it for me, they're not gonna want to do that. So anyway, my main concern now is not even that it is that it's taken a long time, and not because I want to get it here. I'm just worried about the apartment. Like, how long is the landlord going to let this go on for before he wants me out of there, which I can understand, because he's probably, my boss has made his last payment. He's not going to keep paying for a place that I'm not in and not coming back to, and I haven't really told my boss that I'm not coming back. I can only assume he knows by now, but I didn't really broach the subject because if possible, I want to get my stuff out first, and then I can break the bad news. Anyway, that's what's going on there. It's really expensive, and I'm hoping to get a better price on it. And I'm trying to work through the emotional, issue of losing everything that I had. I only have junk anyway. It's not like I have a lot of valuable stuff. It's just expensive. It would be expensive to go through the process of replacing it. And but that may be the better option. I mean, for what to move a whole apartment by FedEx would be stupidly expensive, and I mean it's cheaper in China. The company's called SF, but it's a shipping company. I mean, they ship packages or letters. They don't ship your whole apartment. Okay, so that's topic one. And I found that earlier today, and I got on here and wanted to make a truly heartfelt post, and I was still too emotional, and I sat here and used it as a therapy session. So I have this hour-long video here now, and as soon as I made it, I was like, I can't show this, and there's not even enough usable stuff on there. I was just rambling. It's just like, I'm losing everything. That's stressful in a strange way, because at the same time, I know, I have very little that I really need to get. One thing that occurred to me is I might end up just having to say, look, go in and get my contact lens because they were expensive to get, and and they would be cheap to ship. You could actually put them in a small package. Some paperwork, including my degree from the U.S. because it's in my apartment too. And then just some other random paperwork. If I can get somebody to go in and get that and put it in a small box and stick it in the mail, that would be cheap to ship. That I wouldn't mind doing. But if there's still a way to get, all of my junk, clothes and kitchen stuff, and I'd like to get it down here at least. To be honest, though, I don't know what the hell I would do with it because this apartment's not big enough for it. I'd stick it in a corner and it would just sit there until something else happens. I don't even know. And I'm not even worried about like the next stage because at this point, the one thing that seems painfully obvious is that this I was pushed into this, and sometimes it's a good thing to be pushed into things because I've really had to look at what I'm doing and say, is this what I want to keep doing? And the answer, of course, is no. I like the teaching part of teaching. I do not like the working for other people part of teaching. And I've repeatedly heard from people, get out there and find some tutoring. And just, this apartment is fine for tutoring. I don't have to make my bed. But I'll get a table or a desk or something, actually just a little kitchen table right there would be fine. And I could tutor at my kitchen table. Find adults or kids that are old enough to learn. All this, sitting 3 and 4 year olds down in a classroom, which is bonkers to begin with. Why are they even trying to do that? I could stop doing that. And if people come to me with a 3-year-old, I could just be like, you know what? He's 3. He's not going to learn English. If you have somebody you can just the best thing to do would be to find an English-speaking babysitter. So that's leading me into my next topic, which is that I want to find stuff like that to do. Not necessarily that thing, but just like some sort of work that I can do from home on the internet. Start a company. I've got all sorts of ideas with friends that are wanting to do stuff. My friend Yuri back in China is trying to hook me up with some translation stuff that I can do. Now, my Chinese is not good enough to translate written Chinese into English, but we're trying to work it out where we can do. You have to do a lot in order to get paid a decent amount of money, so a lot of it is going to be automated. He was taking the Chinese and turning it into English, but his English isn't quite good enough to pass muster and for publication. And so I took what he wrote and turned it into something in English. But even under that, there was still some problems. So we're going to try it now. But maybe tomorrow morning or tonight, I'm going to try and do it with putting the Chinese into an online translator, and then working with what the translator gives me. The translator is not perfect. You can't really use that for something decent. But if you can correct the translator's English, if you can correct the translation, it may be possible to do a large amount of this stuff for fairly quickly. So that's what I'm going to work on. That's one thing. And then another thing is online teaching, which I don't, again, I'd rather do it here, but until I can get some clientele for tutoring, I think online might work. And then, of course, I got the part-time job with Terry. We're going tomorrow out to his place. And I got to be honest, even though I've been teaching for years now, I'm a little worried because I hate demos. I don't know what they want out of a demo. What they want is a salesman. They want to sell their school or their product. And they think teachers ought to be able to do that. And I'm like, I don't really do sales. If I wanted to do sales, there's a million jobs in the U.S. I wouldn't be here. This is not what I do. You need to sell the company. I just teach the classes. But then again, there's like the 3 and 4 year old thing. It's just like, I don't even know how that's supposed to work. 3 and 4 year olds do not sit in a classroom. And that's the environment they put them in. They don't put them in a kindergarten type environment like we have. That's not the way they do kindergarten. They sit the little 3 and 4 year olds in rows, just like you do older kids, and have them look in the front at the board, and then you're supposed to stand in front of them and talk to them for an hour. Can you imagine a 4-year-old sitting down in place for an hour? Of course not. They don't do that. That doesn't work. And I'm like, I don't even know what you want, because nothing here is making any sense. This is all gibberish. This idea that you're going to have 3 and 4-year-olds sitting patiently at a desk and taking notes? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You get the kids that age, you can sing a song. You can maybe get them to repeat after you for a couple of seconds, but then that ends pretty quickly. And then have toys and games for them to play. And they don't have the toys and games, and they barely touch on the songs. And then as the teacher, they want you to bring all this stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is the school for? If I bring the material and I teach the material, and then they want you to sell the classes, so you're really recruiting the students. I'm like, what the hell are you for? I don't need you. I got a room. If this is anything like China, you can find a room to teach in easy peasy. So I want to get all that done, but then I also want to turn these videos, I want these to evolve, these things that I'm doing. There's a comments part, so please put your thoughts in there. I'm at a point in life where everything seems uncertain, so if you have any thoughts or ideas about what I'm doing or should do, and don't say come back to the United States. My father said that. I was like, I'm in the one country where there's no coronavirus. Why would I come back to the U.S. where there's coronavirus, but the economy's tanked. There's 40 million people out of work. And I hope you guys recover. I kind of feel like the U.S. may recover more quickly than the worst predictions, but now's not a great time to be coming back and looking for a job. It's just not. I'm sure I have better prospects here if I do have to end up working for a school or something. Then that's what I'll do. But yeah, the prospects are better here than they are there. I just have to keep fingers crossed in general that this works out. Okay, I'll see you guys again next week, and maybe I'll have a better video, an involved video.